All right, it's time to sit back, relax, enjoy your bragging rights. You are back on the bandwagon with Rock and Rob. It is Thursday, August 24th, 2017. Welcome back to the Bandwagon Podcast, where you have bragging rights 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As always, my name is Rock.
And I'm Rob.
And once again today, we have our special guest, the former RFA featherweight champion of the world, climber of towers, father of twins, all-around good guy. This guy splices more fiber than a mini-wheat. Welcome, Jared Demonized Downing, to the Bandwagon.
Thank you for having me, guys, again.
Well, thank you for being here. It was such a good time last time. We had to have you back.
Yeah, it's awesome having him here.
For sure. Now, to start off this podcast, which is episode 55 of the Bandwagon, Rob, I take it we have to have a moment of silence.
We do have to have a moment of silence because, as I found out this week, that the Chuck E. Cheese Corporation is going to shut down the animatronics band.
No more Billy Bob.
No more Billy Bob, no more robots, no
That's
more
sad.
Future of This Time song by the Chuck E. Cheese group. 40 years of service they've given us, and they are now passing on.
That is sad. I remember watching those when I was a kid.
I actually
Very
got up there and
devastating.
hit
I'm
one.
devastated. I'm outraged.
I actually got up on stage one time and actually hit one of them, the big dog.
Jared hit the big dog at
Hit the big
Showbiz
dog.
Pizza.
But you can see the abuse these things took for 40 years.
Yeah, and they got rid of him now.
And they're just getting rid of them. Just like they're nothing.
As if they didn't put any time and service in.
Yep.
It's too bad.
So-
They're not appreciated anymore.
I don't know what else. What do you go for to Chuck E. Cheese for anymore? I mean, their pizza isn't really that good.
I always went for the entertainment as a kid. I didn't care about the pizza.
Neither
But,
did I. I always went to see the animatronics. So now that they're gone, I'm never going there again.
So we need to have a moment of silence for this, do we?
Yeah, one moment over. Okay.
You want to sing a Sarah McLachlan song or
Yeah,
something?
I will remember you. I think that should be their last song. The last song they sing, the animatronics were like, I will remember you.
Oh, geez.
How did we go to see the last performance?
I don't even. Is there one in town? I don't think there is.
Not here to the Rapids.
You'd have to go online and find out where the closest one is.
Oh, I'll drive 6 hours to go see this.
They have one, I think,
The only
in
time you're ever
Omaha.
going to hear these Chuck E. Cheese songs ever again is if somebody covers them.
They live forever on YouTube. Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You can even watch Showbiz, the old Showbiz
Yep.
ones with the gorilla guy.
I've watched them.
They're awesome.
Indeed, I have.
While eating pizza, I suppose.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, you have pizza.
And ice cream. It's good for you.
There you go.
Also, something that happened, well, let's move on from the more somber part of the show.
Yeah.
But something more interesting that happened at last month in July? O.J. Simpson had his parole hearing. And was that a circus or what?
That was awesome. I mean, I've never seen somebody. Everybody that when it happened and they went off of it and they're like, they're going to come back in 20 minutes of their decision. Every news channel, everything I went to, because I was flipping through the channels. I mean, life stops when O.J. Simpson does something.
You're right about that.
And people will go, I just want, I've seen people on Facebook going, I just want to say I don't care about the O.J. Simpson thing. But you are still talking about it. So you've created a talking
People
point.
went out of their way to let you know that they don't care about the O.J. Simpson
Whenever somebody does
thing.
that, like I did it to be funny, I said, I don't care about the solar eclipse. But whenever somebody does that, it means you do care
Like,
because you're talking about it. You're creating a talking
I don't
point.
watch Game of Thrones or whatever it is,
Okay, but you know about it and you're creating a talking point.
You got to advertise that you don't do something that everybody
Yeah.
else does.
So, yeah. I got to do that at least once a week. I go, I don't even care.
But Rob and I were very, very critically watching the O.J. parole hearing, and, man, he was just making an ass of himself. He said everything that you could say if you wanted to stay in prison, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like the guy even goes, what were you thinking when you were doing that? And he goes, no, wait, no. See, what I did was, it's my stuff. That was my stuff. I didn't do anything wrong, he's saying. He's like, I didn't pull the gun out. He's like saying everything bad.
Like, what you're supposed to do, from what I understand at a parole hearing, is say, you know what? I know I did something wrong. I know it was in the past. I've been rehabilitated. My time in prison, I've really reflected on my actions. I'm a changed man. But no, he did none of that.
No, he didn't.
Absolutely
He's
none
like,
of that.
It's my
What did he
stuff.
do?
He goes, it's my stuff. The state of California said it's my stuff, and I want my stuff. That's what he said.
He was acting like he was on trial, and he was trying to prove his innocence. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. It was my stuff. Hey, it was somebody took my stuff. You telling me I can't take my stuff? I didn't kill Nicole. I didn't, he just started going back to old stuff too.
So it was way too late. It's like, it's already over. You're already proven
Yeah, he's
guilty.
already spent
You
7
went
years in
through-
jail. Yeah.
prison already.
So this hearing was specifically, will they let you out now? And the way to do that is to convince these 4 people that you're a changed man. You're no longer a risk.
Even if you're
you
not.
know what I mean?
But they
Even
let
if
him out
you're not.
anyways, right?
And they let him out. They let him out anyways.
Anyways, that's awesome.
Terrible performance
Because
by
of
the
his
Juice.
daughter. His daughter, I think, is what helped him there.
Was it one of the guys on the parole board wearing a Buffalo Bills tie?
Yeah, or something like that. I think it was a Kansas City Chiefs tie, but nonetheless, is football.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm letting him out. I'm
mean-
letting out the Juice."
It just shows. It just shows that. I mean, the Juice is a big deal.
Oh, he's
At
huge.
one time, people were saying this guy was going to be governor of California and all sorts of crap back in the '90s. And
Nordberg.
Nordberg. I mean, I liked Nordberg.
He's a great movie star.
I'm hoping that Nordberg happens again when OJ gets out.
Naked Gun 444 and a fourth. It's coming out.
I mean, he was found innocent.
Hey,
yeah, he
in this
was.
murder case.
And-
Lost the civil case.
And from what I understand, it was a
That
bunch
don't
of
matter.
BS for him to go to jail for as long as he did for the
so-
crime that he committed.
Get this. This is even more interesting.
What's that?
He has kids with Nicole.
Sure.
So her parents, I believe, are dead. I think.
Yeah.
He's supposed to give so much of his money to the parents, That was the civil case.
Yeah, because he lost the civil case. I remember
but
now.
since they died, it went to his children. So all he's got to do is he gets all of his money through his children. So he's going to be a millionaire right away, especially if the football pension.
Well, yeah, I also read that they can't touch the football pension, and that's $50,000 a month.
Yeah.
So he's set, and the
He's set.
juice is going to be loose in
He
October.
wants his stuff.
He wants his
Wait,
stuff back.
he gets $50,000 every month.
Yeah, 50. It might be $25,000 a month, but it's something ridiculous like that.
Hey, he's ready to go.
and
man.
supposedly they can't touch that money for
No, they
some
can't.
reason. That's his money.
But technically, they can't touch anything that he makes now because it's going to go directly to his kids, who he's going to go live with during this probation period.
The question I want to know is,
So when he wants something nice, he'll be like, "Hey, daughter, we're going to
Goodbye
buy a
to this."
mansion. We're going to move in there. I'm still living with you."
the question I want to know is when he does get out, because he's getting out in October. When he does get out, will he make media appearances? Will somebody get him on TV for an interview?
Absolutely, he's going to
Why-
go right on there
Why wouldn't he?
to
Well,
talk about his time in prison.
I would love to have OJ on the bandwagon.
OJ,
That'd be awesome.
OJ, if you're watching, I would love to have you on the show. Huge
If you're
fan.
watching from prison, well,
Huge
he
fan
probably
of OJ.
is able to watch TV, huh?
Oh yeah, he had it made in prison. It sounded
Yeah,
like he
he's
was
good to go.
put up in a penthouse.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some of the people that
His
used to be.
sofa.
He was
And
treated
recliner.
nicely.
Because
Yeah.
leading up to this parole hearing, I mean, a couple days, they were doing some interviews with people that were in prison with him. They said that he could put like a piece of paper on his cell that said "Do not disturb."
He's the
So
man.
when
And they
everybody
wouldn't
else-
bug him.
Everybody else had to get up and come out. And in the morning, but OJ was like, "Dude, he just stuck a
Do
piece
not
of
disturb
paper.
me."
Do not disturb me."
I'm busy.
It was like he
here
was in
now.
he was in a suite at a hotel or something
Yeah.
like that.
He just pretty much
That's
did whatever he
awesome.
wanted. He was well respected in the prison, I guess.
So OJ, my prediction is when OJ gets out, he won't get any like big time network interviews. It'll be some some internet YouTube channel that gets him. Because I think that if like one of the big network gets him, they're gonna be demonized for it. Like, oh, you're having that guy. I can't believe you're having that guy on your TV. So it'll be like one of those
It'll be
YouTube.
hits though.
You'll get a ton of hits. Don't get me wrong.
Viewers is like, why
I want
wouldn't
it to be us. OJ,
Why
I
wouldn't
don't
they
have,
do it?
I
Well,
don't have the money to pay you, OJ, but please come on our show.
that would be. Oh man.
It'd be awesome because mainly I'm going to talk about the first 20 minutes. Is going to be talking about his character as Nordberg.
Nordberg.
Nordberg. Yeah. As long as Rocky saunds just like the guy, so he could be like Nordberg.
I love
I
Naked
don't
Gun.
even know what this is.
It's Naked Gun movies. O.J. Simpson played a character in all 3 Naked Gun movies called Officer Nordberg. He played a cop.
And he did a bunch of stupid stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's funny.
he was actually a really pretty good actor in that movie. So
He needed to be in the movie for it to be awesome.
yeah, it was good.
Like when he was injured and they pushed him down the stairs and
Yeah, he got his ass kicked all the time
yeah,
inadvertently.
he's always messed up. He's like Kenny off South Park.
yeah,
pretty much.
except never
His
died.
character. Except for he never died, but he should have died many times in that movie. But that's the joke.
Either way, the juice will be loose in October, and it was a big media fiasco when he had the parole hearing. It'll be another big media fiasco when he actually gets released from jail. No doubt about it.
And another thing that I seen that he was definitely mad about the high school in San Francisco that he spent the money on to build the football stadium. It was called O.J. Simpson
Where they changed the name?
They changed the name of it, but he spent the money on it. So he was like, in an interview like a couple of years ago, he said, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure they get that fixed. so we're going to see him go on a tirade, I think, when he gets out.
Yeah.
He's going to be in San Francisco going, that's my football field.
He didn't sound like he
get
learned
arrested?
anything while he was in jail because he sounded like just a pompous prick at the parole hearing.
He is sitting in a penthouse in jail.
He still used to be treated royally.
Yeah, so what would you
He's
learn?
treated like
I
a
ain't learned
god
nothing.
in there, it sounds like.
He was awesome. Anyways, I can't wait for that to happen. I can't wait to see what he ends up doing once he's free. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be glued to my TV, and I'm going to also look at Facebook so I can see everybody going,
I can't believe they're doing
I can't believe everybody. I'll tell you one thing. I don't give a shit about O.J. Simpson. They're like, okay, why are you talking about it then? Why are you on Facebook
They always
talking
bring
about
it up.
I love that. I love it when people post about stuff that they're not doing that everybody else is. That's so awesome.
Yeah, so O.J.'s awesome.
What was it, 2 years ago? I can't believe everybody. I'm not doing the Ice Bucket Challenge. You guys go ahead.
Yeah, that was another one. Everybody doing the Ice Bucket Challenge is a sheep. I remember seeing those.
Whatever even happened with that?
The cause got tons of money. I mean,
And then it just disappeared.
I don't know if
It
the
was ALS or something.
ALS, whatever that stands for, Lou Gehrig's disease, I think was the nickname for it. I'm
The
not
cause
sure.
got a bunch of money, but that all got distributed amongst the employees, and nobody got anything.
Did they cure ALS from the Ice Bucket Challenge?
No, they did not.
No,
They did
In
not.
fact,
No.
only pennies to the dollar actually go to actually getting any research done. The rest goes to all the doctors.
How do you know that?
CEO.
Are you
Good
sure about
genius.
this?
This is actually what we call a Gator fact. But
Yeah, it is.
I'm not gonna check it. I'm not gonna check
I'm
it.
just assuming 'cause that's how every other charity works. So I'm just assuming I'm putting it
You're
in
just
somebody's
assuming?
head, like a flat
They're
earther.
probably really good people, actually, but Gator says
I'm
no.
being like, the guy who believes the sun is cold. Just
Yes. yes.
saying what I gotta say.
Speaking of the sun being cold, let's go ahead and shift gears now. One thing.
Oh, well then hold on a second, Rocky. Hold on, I gotta change some clothing if we're gonna talk about crazy stuff.
We've got some special attire here for Jared and Rob because we are now going to get onto the topic of flat Earth theory. Oh yes, flat Earth theory. It is a thing. It's a real thing, and there's a pretty big movement out there of people that actually believe the Earth is not round, but it is flat. I am not worried about the government reading my brain. These two, on the other hand, have their tinfoil hats on.
Yeah, I feel like right now that we're talking about this, the government is shooting some kind of
Yep.
signal down on us, which with our antennas on top of these hats, we don't really have to worry about it. And thank God Jared's with me.
Yep.
Rocky.
I don't want them knowing what we are about to talk
I
about.
feel like
think they're
anybody,
after us.
if you believe in the Illuminati and stuff, right now you can see that me and Jared are not going to be controlled by the government in our words, but we're going to watch Rocky probably start saying,
Right. And if I did have a tinfoil hat on, then it wouldn't be a good experiment because I am the.
yeah, we want to make
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
we're basically
Yeah. So
We're basically
if you
putting
think that
Rocky
it's
in
round,
danger.
you're probably wrong.
Right.
Yep.
we're putting Rocky in danger just to make sure to see what happens when the government shoots the lasers
It's for the
down
greater
on
good.
us.
I am jumping on the grenade for you guys.
Yeah, pretty much. He's jumping on the grenade. That's perfect.
But in all seriousness, no, this
Goddamn
flat
hero.
Earth theory is a real deal. It's a real thing. There's a lot of people. They have their own website and everything where they talk about it like crazy. But here's the gist of it, okay, guys? Earth is actually not a round sphere. It is a disk, the Arctic Circle being in the center of this disk, and Antarctica, which is actually a 150-foot wall of ice, surrounds the circumference of this disk we call Earth, which explains why nobody ever falls off.
Why?
How
Because they're on land,
do they
so
know
don't
that it's
fall off?
150 feet?
Well, think about it. If it's flat, there's going to be an edge, right?
Yeah.
So
How could you not fall off the edge?
because there's a 150-foot wall of ice goes all the way
Nobody-
around the
So
disk.
Get
you
over
can't
it.
just fly a helicopter over that?
No, well, they have an answer for that. Everybody who works for NASA works on the wall and prevents people from climbing or flying over
It's
and falling
the Night
off.
Watch.
It's kind of like Game of Thrones, The Night's Watch.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, but I think this
you
flat
go.
Earth thing was thought of before Game of Thrones. So
Yeah,
So-
but still,
So when you look at the latitude and longitude of the flat Earth map that they have provided for everybody, you notice that like Shanghai is in direct line with Alaska, Anchorage, according to their map. So I would say that they're on the same level. So why doesn't it get dark in the winter, all winter in Shanghai, but all winter in Alaska it gets dark? And all summer it stays light. I mean, I was there.
I think you're asking way too many questions.
That's because the sun is actually traveling. We are not traveling in a revolution around the sun. It's actually the sun that is traveling in a revolution around the flat disk that is Earth. And sometimes it only goes around one arc. That arc does not consist of the Alaska portion on 4 days of the parameter.
Ooh, got him.
Is this
got
a Rocky fact? I think you just made this up.
It sounds good to me, though.
It sounds
really
not
good.
legit at all.
What?
I just explained.
Hey, the sun's going around. Hold on. Let's pretend this is the flat Earth. The sun's going around like this.
Okay.
Right? Is what you're saying. The sun's going around.
Yep, that's what happens.
So, shouldn't it be shining on the whole flat Earth at the same time? Because it's going to be over top of the flat Earth in the middle of the day. Shouldn't it be like sunlight in Shanghai then,
Nope.
and also sunlight in Los Angeles
No,
at the same time?
It doesn't revolve over the center. It doesn't revolve over the exact center. It
Where does
revolves
At an angle.
at a different angle, different
angle.
portion.
And, with
And that
light
angle changes
reflects.
throughout the year?
I mean, it's kind of hard to understand. You know, I could explain it all day long. You know,
I don't know,
but
it's how
just
it
believe me, the
reflects.
Earth is flat. Okay, you know, the Earth is flat.
Okay, so
We could Google it, and then I could give you more answers, but I don't have the time right now.
what about?
I'm
what
just
about-
being devil's advocate here.
I see that.
Okay, and I'll also say this: that gravity is an illusion.
What about how come the Earth or the sun changes where it's at throughout the year, where it's coming up and coming down?
That's a myth. Actually, that's actually not true. Prove it. Prove that's true. Prove it. Prove it right now. Where's the data? Where's the evidence?
Let me get on my phone. I'll
No
get you
time.
some
All
data.
right. All right. Let me know when you
So,
got it. Let me know when you got it.
That
Until
the
then,
sun
I'm
is
right.
changing.
That the sun changed. So right now, folks, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about flat Earth theory, the idea that the Earth is actually flat. There is a real movement out there, a community of people who do believe the Earth is actually flat, and they do put forth evidence, quote unquote, evidence in favor of this theory. One of which is that gravity is actually not real. Gravity is an illusion. Objects don't move down. The flat Earth actually moves up when you drop something. What do you think about that, Rob?
What'd you
what?
say? Say that again.
You didn't hear anything I just said.
'Cause I'm looking up the sun thing.
You were telling
There's no
me that
proof of it, okay?
There's no proof of the
You're
sun's
telling me-
changing.
GPS devices are rigged. What now?
You're telling me that they actually think that the Earth moves up whenever we drop something.
Yes, indeed. I read that on.
Is
I
it
can't remember
constantly moving up then?
Yes,
So right now, I'm going like this,
This is awesome.
and the Earth just moved up
according to flat Earth theory, and prove that it doesn't.
because I'm still sitting here. How come I didn't move anywhere?
You did.
You did with the Earth.
So I just moved.
Yep.
How
Yeah.
come you guys didn't move too?
So
I
where
did.
are we moving up to? Like, so we're in the universe is moving up. Everything's
Yeah.
You know what?
flying
I
straight
want to
up.
move Rocky around a little bit. There
Well,
we go.
Think
No,
of, well, think
no,
about
no,
this.
I'm doing it all the
We are
time.
Okay.
always moving up. It's saying we are constantly
So,
moving up.
so you're saying that you have to feel that you're moving up in order to be moving up, is what you're saying.
You would notice something.
Okay,
Moving
okay,
up.
you would notice something, right? Well, guess what? The Earth is supposedly spinning and revolving around the sun,
don't feel
and you
that.
don't feel that.
When you're in
you don't
a-
feel that, do you? Oh,
Maybe you do when it stops.
When you're in a
Maybe if
plane-
it stops, you feel it.
Yeah,
Maybe
you're
we
flying.
fall off if it stops.
right
Oh.
off the edge.
Well, you know what? If we stopped moving up, we'd probably feel it.
Yep.
Okay.
In the same way, we'd probably feel it if we stopped.
I need a little bit
Spinning,
bigger. I need a little
which
bit
we don't
bigger
spin.
tinfoil hat.
We don't actually spin. We are the center of the universe.
I feel like my hat's not big enough here. I can feel the rays coming down on my head right now from the government spaceship up above. Satellites.
The satellites,
shooting me.
yeah. The fake satellites.
If you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe Shaquille O'Neal,
No, I'm not going to
who-
believe Shaquille
who
O'Neal.
is actually a flat earther himself. Let me quote Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal is a flat earther, and if you don't believe my logic, listen to
So,
what
so you truly believe that the Earth is flat?
listen to what Shaq has to say, and then you'll agree with me. Just let me read this quote. Here's Shaq. Quote, "It's true. Earth is flat. The Earth is flat. So listen, I drive from coast to coast, and this shit is flat to me. I'm just saying. I drive from Florida to California all the time, and it's flat to me. I don't go up and down at 360-degree angles
doesn't see the
and all that
mountains?
stuff about gravity. You have looked outside Atlanta lately and seen all these buildings? You mean to tell me that China's under us? It's not. The world is flat." Unquote, Shaquille O'Neal.
He's a man.
Yeah.
I believe it now. After hearing
I
that,
believe it because
now I
Shaquille
believe it.
O'Neal told me.
yeah.
So, I mean, go ahead and try to refute what Shaquille O'Neal just
Okay,
said there.
so-
Well, there's a lot
So
of
basically,
images
we're
about
just
the
going to
Earth
say
being round.
geometry isn't real?
Geometry? What are you talking about, geometry?
Well, the angles. We're talking about the North Pole and the South Pole. When you have a compass, what about that? Why is the compass pointing north? Why?
Because it's pointing towards the Arctic.
Yeah, it's pointing towards the north.
Why
north.
is there a north?
Yeah.
Why would there be a north?
Because it's
anymore?
pointing towards the north of the flat disk of Earth.
Yeah. Which
We still have
It's
directions.
pointing towards the magnetic poles.
If it was north, one side would be north, one would be south. So if you say went from America over to China,
it's
it
pointing.
it should be pointed towards the ice.
So it's pointing towards the magnetic pole. That's north. How come the stars rotate north up in the north part and south?
So
in the
you
south part.
prove that they do that.
Well, there's tons of people who've already proven it. Why do I?
Who? Name one person who proved it.
Let's think about this, Rocky.
No, I'm thinking about it.
Okay, so I've been. We're in the northern part.
You're putting forth evidence. I'm just
so if
asking
you
you to
watch-
back it up.
All right, well, I will. Give me some time.
Here we go. He's gonna Google. A
I'll
bunch
chew
of
up
stuff.
this whole hour talking about fucking flat Earth. This
So
is
far,
stupid.
I'm pretty sure the listeners
I've done it the
have to
tinfoil
admit
hat.
that I'm winning this debate.
Not really.
And
I don't feel like you're winning the debate. I feel like
I-
you're doing a lot of
You prove
talking.
it.
That
you prove that
I put
it's
forth
flat.
evidence.
I feel like you got a
What
piece of
evidence?
paper in front of you. You've prepared. You've planned to do this
I
kind of
put
shit
forth
today.
that no one's been across Antarctica.
But now give me a chance, since I didn't know you were going to actually come on here and pretend like you believe the Earth is flat. So
Hey, someone's got to be devil's advocate here. I am the quintessential flat earther, and you're debating me, and it seems like you're losing. So, like right now, if you were listening to this debate logically, you would probably be convinced that the Earth is actually
not
flat.
really. I'm
middle.
not
I'm in the
convinced at
middle.
all.
I have no proof.
Facebook followers, anybody who's watching, all 6 of you, what do you
I
think?
feel like I don't have to prove it. There's so
What do you
much
think?
information out there that proves that it's not flat.
Okay, well, give us one piece of that information.
I'm trying to Google it right now. The internet ain't working.
Well, on the
Government
picture,
stopping
the
me.
internet's not working. That's very convenient.
it's the government, dude. The government is watching us, and they're making sure that he can't prove you wrong.
You trying to Google a bunch of those
I'm trying,
NASA
look what I'm doing. I'm trying to Google.
He took off his hat. Of
Yeah.
course, the government is tracking him.
the NASA rigged photos from the moon, from the quote unquote moon.
Yeah.
the photos of
That
Earth.
didn't happen.
So why is it when you lay down on the ground, when the sun's setting, if you're standing, you see the sun set, but if you lay down, you can see it just a little bit longer when the sun sets. We can go outside and prove that soon.
What are you even talking about?
If you
So you
lay
have-
down,
On the
you'll
ground,
see it set. But then if
if you're
it's
standing,
gone.
it's
And then
already gone.
if you stand up, no, it's
How's
opposite.
that possible?
Because the
Opposite of what you're
sun is
saying.
going over the disk, and then guess what? It's gonna end up at the end.
So
of
we're
that
going to
disk at
ignore
some point.
angles then. We're going to ignore angles.
No, there's an
All right.
angle. There's an angle there.
All right.
Of course.
Two
Everyone
eggs.
flat.
2 eggs
Think
plus
about it.
2 eggs equals 5 eggs.
Now you're sounding
Math-
now you're
math-
sounding a little like Alex Jones. Come on.
Math,
Just conspiracy theory.
math is no longer needed anymore.
Don't be a big conspiracy theorist. Come on.
I'm just
now.
saying, if
Get your
the
head
Earth's
back
flat,
on.
we might as well ignore mathematics altogether.
Well,
I mean, we have people that have flown or took ships or whatever and traveled all the way around the world.
how do you know?
They told me this.
Because they told you.
So
I
let's-
read it on Google.
Hold,
You
hold
ready
on.
to go
If you
Google?
go,
Yeah.
if you
Google told
isn't
me.
it that you
Google
can
did tell me
fly
that.
one way and lose a whole day if you fly a certain way for a period of time?
Explain the Bermuda Triangle. That is planes
is that the
that
end
have
of-
flown off the edge.
So
Flown
the
off
Bermuda
the edge.
Triangle is the-
gone.
But
Well, that's nowhere near the edge, though.
yeah, it's nowhere near the edge.
How do you know?
Well,
Exactly.
from the flat earthers.
What
Yeah.
about the 1977 picture of the Earth taken by the Apollo 17 astronauts?
Yeah.
And it was round.
You ever heard of Photoshop?
In
Have you seen the
1977,
picture?
they were
Hey.
all doing that. They were on their cell phones photoshopping.
the government's always got like
Oh, they've been
50 years
way
ahead
ahead, way
in
ahead.
technology.
But also,
They can
I've seen a
Photoshop
picture of
anything.
a astronaut who took a picture of the flat Earth.
Nobody's commenting
Yeah,
on
good
this
point.
topic.
Good point.
And it looks just as good as the round Earth.
We're
Good.
losing viewers.
If you Google flat Earth
No, we're not.
astronaut,
We're literally losing viewers.
if you Google flat Earth astronaut, then click on images, you will see a picture of an astronaut taking a picture of flat Earth that looks just as real and just as legit as the photoshopped ones of the spherical Earth. That is it. Yeah, that is it. But there's no astronaut in that picture, is there?
There is one with it's a astronaut who's taking like a selfie.
You're right. We are losing viewers. We're down to 4.
Nobody believes this crap.
That's awesome.
All right.
You know what I think it is? Everybody's so convinced. They're like, okay, I got it. First flat. I'm out.
No, I don't
Good
think so. I
argument.
think people are like, whoa, Rocky really believes this? But anyways, let's go to...
Sun and water.
what
mixed
about
together to
time
make
zones?
color.
Why do we have time zones? Why does that occur? Watch this. little
It's something
video.
made up by man.
Something made up by
Yeah.
man. Okay, time zones.
Same reason why we have leap year to make you think, that it's all technical and hard.
What about-
It makes you
stuff.
think that the Earth is round,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's not.
What about hurricanes spinning? What about hurricanes and stuff?
That's my boss
What about
call.
them? They're tropical storms.
Well, the ones up north spin towards the north, and the ones down south spin towards the south.
How do you know?
I'm just looking at the top 10 list here.
How do you know?
If you walk in a triangle or something here, I mean, here we go. Let's say you walk from here to here to here, and then go back here in a triangle. You end up in the same spot. Why?
It's getting kind of weak with these arguments, Rob. I mean,
Well, look right here. Look right here.
I'm not going to watch a YouTube video while we're live on the bandwagon. Sorry. You got to come more prepared with your evidence.
Have
Well,
you
I didn't-
noticed that I went
To
from
be
his
honest,
side
I didn't
to
know
your
you were
side?
going to come on here and pretend to be a flat earther. So I'm just going to tune out because I'm actually thrown off by the whole thing.
All right. Shall we move on to the next topic and just kind of consider this case closed? We got to the conclusion of flat Earth.
I've not got to the conclusion. I think that it's not flat.
Well, how do you explain the solar eclipse then?
Oh my God!
How do you-
Stupid eclipse.
How do you explain the solar eclipse
Well, I tell you what.
as a flat earther?
I'm standing on the flat Earth. I'm looking up at the sun, and the spherical moon moves in front of the spherical sun.
So
So
everything
I'm
else
on
is
a round
so
Earth,
everything
and the
else
same
is
thing happens.
round. Mars is round. Everything's round, but
Well, yeah, you can
not
get a
this.
telescope
Not
and look
this
at 'em.
spot. Not this
Right,
spot. You can't
right.
find anything else that's flat anywhere in the universe, but
because it's
right
all
here.
around us.
Yeah, you also can't find life anywhere else on other planets, so we're unique. So we're flat. We have life.
we haven't
have
found
water.
life yet.
We have water. Yeah, we haven't found toasters in outer space yet either. But come on,
It's good.
we.
That's a good argument.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
I
Haven't
don't
found-
think it's a good
I'm so-
argument at all.
Haven't found unicorns yet, so we might as well believe they're real.
What about
Yeah.
the horizon? Let's go back to the
What
sun
about
thing. You're standing up. You see the sun go down. If you lay down flat on your back, and you can go do this after we're done here, you will see the sun going down more. It's not even possible unless the earth is round.
Why?
Because it's falling. The earth's spinning.
That's not proof. I mean, just saying something's not possible. You got to give evidence to back up that idea.
Don't need any evidence. Walk outside and look at it.
We're
I
live.
think what he is trying to say that is if it was flat,
It would be the
sun
same.
Would go
It would
down,
be the
It
same.
would go down at the same rate.
It'd be the same.
But because it's
Look,
round, you
Look,
can
if I go,
stand up and see it
here's
longer.
a flat piece of paper. Here's a flat piece of paper. I go 2 lines down. 2 lines down. If I stand up and look, I see the 2 lines. If I get way down here, there's still 2 lines on that piece of paper. Now, if I take it round like this, since we're going to go here,
I guess. I thought we were going to move on, but he's
Here we are.
still going.
I think we should
I go
move
here.
on now.
I put the paper here, and I go down. I'm seeing less of a line. Now I'm seeing more of it. There's an
Okay.
experiment.
Well, good for you. You just proved to yourself the Earth is round.
I just proved to you that Earth
All
is
it
round.
took was 2 pieces of paper.
It really, that's all it took. And
Bob,
all it took was just logic and 2 pieces of paper. And now we know the Earth is round.
All right, that's all you need. Didn't need to know anything else. That experiment proved it.
It
Case
really
closed.
did.
I'm convinced now
It's
by the paper
angles.
experiments.
It's angles.
But what did you look at the solar eclipse?
I didn't look at, I did not look at it because without these glasses on.
Yeah. Well, Donald Trump looked at it without his glasses on.
And what happened to him?
He was like, I don't trust the fake news. This ain't going to hurt my eyes. No big deal. I don't need no solar eclipse glasses. And he just looked on up there.
And was he fine?
Yeah, he's fine. So it is fake news.
See, God, I knew it. I should have went up there and looked, but I didn't really care about it, so I just.
You
did
could
it on the
totally look
side.
at that. There's nothing wrong with it. You could totally look at this solar
We could
eclipse.
have, because we had nothing but clouds.
True. Good point. It didn't even get dark.
Yeah.
It didn't even get dark.
Not here, it didn't. It
gets-
got dark in Missouri, because the Earth is round. So some spots actually it got dark in other spots it did not because the Earth is round.
So why would the Earth being around make it darker in
Well,
some
let's
spots
see.
than
You're
others?
on.
Let's
you're,
not do this. Let's not do this.
Let's
You're
ruin
on
the podcast.
You're here.
Let them keep going.
Well, I will argue the flat Earth thing if you're gonna try to convince people.
I've already convinced everybody.
No, I don't think so. A lot of people are not convinced that the Earth is flat.
Are you sure about that?
One
Shaq has
person
already
just
spoken
wants
on the
us.
subject. Look at Tim Hewell. Says Shaq has already spoken on the subject. End of story. Next topic. Thank you, Tim. Our listeners have spoken.
And Tim is probably right. I mean,
And he's a super smart guy.
He's super smart.
Yeah.
So
So
I think Tim's
so
right.
far, flat Earth, 1 for flat Earth,
And
0
Shaq.
for
And
sphere
then-
Earth.
and one more
And
for
we
Shaq.
have 3 viewers.
Yep, exactly. Because we keep talking about this. We got to move on. We won. Flat Earth wins.
I don't think flat Earth wins. I just did an experiment and proved it wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't
Well,
think
our viewers aren't convinced. Our viewers aren't convinced. But anyways, did you guys hear about the ESPN commentator named Robert Lee, who happens to be an Asian American man, who got pulled from calling a football game because his name, Robert Lee, might offend some people? Did you hear about this?
I heard because you told me.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not.
No, it's true according to many websites that I've read. I mean, if you Google the
I don't have time to Google information.
Oh,
Rob
no.
doesn't have time.
Don't do this,
Rob got
Rob.
more
we're,
time.
we're on the podcast, so I don't have time to Google the information.
Well, it's out there, okay?
It's out.
Just know that.
Okay, maybe it's not true. Rob's a little mad right now.
I'm not mad. I'm
Don't
just
be
saying.
upset.
I'm not mad.
Have I
I'm just
successfully trolled Rob?
I think
I might have.
you
I'm not-
trolled
if I
Rob.
was-
This is video evidence of
saying. I don't
you
feel
trolled
like
Rob.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying
I think
I don't know. That comment was like, oh, I don't have time to do it.
because I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
I'm not
okay,
trolled.
I'll go out there. I played devil's advocate, and I did a pretty good job of it. I do not think the Earth is flat. I think it's round. Rob, your proof is all 100% true.
That paper
I just
was
can't.
perfect.
We just can't have one point of view. We got to have a little debate
Nah.
about this stuff, right?
Well, yeah.
Forget
I
those
just
idiots.
I would have liked to known before I come on. We were gonna have a little debate.
Oh no! Next time we'll make sure.
I
you
actually
know-
didn't plan. I didn't plan on doing devil's advocate. I just thought at the time, hey, let's
All right.
Get it
Anyways,
Let's get it
let's
going.
move on to Robert Lee. Yeah, I did actually hear about that. That the Asian guy is didn't get to commentate the thing because he has the same name as the general.
from the Confederacy, yeah.
That's racist.
And the guy happens to be Asian American, so he doesn't.
Yeah,
That offends me.
Are you offended because they took him off?
Nope. I am offended if they would have let him on.
Oh, so you're offended that by his name, by his.
His name really offends me, and I think that he should be made to change his name.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, there's a different point of view that I wasn't expecting. But
Devil's advocate, you know.
yeah, devil's advocate. All right.
I'm part black, so that is racist, and
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say nothing. I
actually-
I respect your view. I, as a white man, have no opinion, and my opinion doesn't matter.
at all.
Yeah. So
Not whatsoever.
I don't even want to weigh in on this
You
because
oppress my people.
if I
so-
do, I'll be called a racist. So
yeah,
well,
you're right.
You have oppressed half of my people, so
but
Rob and I need to check
can I be in with the other races since I have an interracial baby and
that's
can I
true.
join in?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. The
Do I
rules.
have to be lumped
You're
in the
okay
white
now.
group? Can I now be in the other group?
Now you're okay because you do
So-
have
so-
a
it-
half Asian baby.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm not in the white group anymore.
Nope.
I'm partially out.
You could be like a.
Partially out.
You could be like Elizabeth Warren and say you're Native American.
Well, you know what?
Call you Pocahontas.
There's a lot of people who, a lot of Caucasian people, if they go and they do that, what do they call that test, ancestry test, DNA
Yeah,
test?
yeah.
They find out that they have like other races in them.
I've heard about
A
that.
lot of
And then same thing with black people and Asians or whoever.
Wonder if Donald Trump ever got that done. Find out like he's 60% Mexican. And then he's like, about that wall. Maybe not.
60%. That's a pretty big percentage.
That's huge.
That's
Yeah.
like
huge.
His mom or dad would be. Both would actually have Mexican in them.
Well, there you go.
A lot of it.
See, I can't
Yeah.
even say that because I'm a white guy. If I just say Mexican, They're like, racist! I just say
This topic is offending me, actually. I'm not going to lie.
All right.
Me too, as an interracial baby's father, I'm offended.
All right.
I'm
Well,
offended.
We
should
said
move on.
Mexican. I'm mad.
we will stop with this topic, and we'll move on. We'll move on to the core portion of the program, which would be our Mount Rushmore segment.
Are we really going to go to that, right? Okay.
It's
yes,
over.
we are.
It's already said.
I was going to talk about the super team.
What's super team? Oh, yeah.
Topic for tonight: most awesome countries, and it doesn't have to be current countries. It could be countries from the past that have done awesome stuff. But before we get to Mount Rushmore, Rob, did you want to talk about the mega trade that just went down?
Yeah, we had a mega trade. This is big news. I mean, also we had John Jones getting caught for steroids again at the same time. So we had two huge news happening at the same time. My mind was blown that night. Anyways, Isaiah Thomas and Crowder have now gone to the Cleveland Cavs for one guy and the first-round Nets pick. That's what Boston traded for Kyrie Irving.
So Cavs are gearing up.
And Cavs have Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose, Kevin Love, and LeBron James.
They got Derrick Rose?
Yeah,
You sure about that?
yeah.
Dang, they really did gear up.
They got a super team now.
Wow.
And they got the first-round draft pick next year.
They're going to be a force. They're definitely going to win the East. No doubt about that.
So it's going to be interesting next year.
I'm looking forward to it.
And then let's talk about fight news real quick. Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. There we go.
Rob's got a big, surprising prediction that he's going
Yeah,
to reveal.
I
at
do
the end
have
of
a
the
big
episode,
surprising prediction,
which is this Saturday.
which is this Saturday.
What's going to happen?
Well, Rob's got a prediction, and it's huge.
We're going to wait. We're going to have to wait towards the end to give this prediction.
We'll do it after the Rushmore. John Jones got busted for roids again. Got stripped.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, we knew it was going to happen. You know,
So Cormier didn't need to be crying on
Yeah,
TV like he
That's
did.
messed up, man.
He was
made
going to
him
win
cry.
anyways.
Yep.
Daniel Cormier is
sense.
the only champion who's never actually had to, who could never beat John Jones, but he's always got the belt. He's like, I lost my title. Like, when did you win it? When did you win this title? You just keep getting it back. Every time Jones gets busted, you get your belt back.
I think it's pretty likely that Jones has been on steroids most, if not all, of his career.
Probably.
It's
You know?
obvious now we can think that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's worse than Lance Armstrong.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, big time.
Lance Armstrong lied once. When he finally got busted, he went, okay.
All right.
Yeah, once he got caught
apologize.
once. But Jones has done it several times.
He's been caught for
He
cocaine.
had
and-
coke on him, and he left some woman and her baby for dead after he ran into him.
He sure did.
Man, he's a
He's
piece
like, I'm
of
trying
crap.
to become a better person. Like, really? Because this is not looking good.
See, I thought that was enough to get him banned for life just by doing that hit and run thing, but no, that's Dana's
It's
White.
money.
Yeah, it's all
Money,
about money.
money.
Got him back in. He'll fight again, even though the fans hate him now, but they'll forgive him. They forgave him after all that other stuff.
Being hated almost gets you more money. Look at Mayweather. He was pretty hated all of his career, and
True. Good point.
that's why people tuned in with him versus Pacquiao. They're like, finally, we're going to see Pacquiao beat him up. And then
Yeah.
it didn't happen.
No, that was boring. One of the
That
boring
was-
fights I've
I've
ever seen in my
ever
life.
watched. Yeah.
It's horrible. I can't even watch the whole fight. It's so boring.
Yeah, boxing's pretty boring.
Boxing-
Except for the heavyweights. Some of those heavyweights are pretty awesome.
Yeah, because they really slug it out.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll ever see John Jones again, but I won't be surprised if we do.
I hope I don't have to. I'm sick of him.
Me too. Should we hit the Rushmore?
Let's hit the Rushmore.
All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 6 countries on the list, so there's not going to be too many to eliminate.
Okay, I got a few on my list. We'll see if we
All right,
are
cool.
the same.
What you got?
I'm gonna start with Vietnam.
Vietnam. I have Vietnam on my list also. And
That's a good one.
Why do you have Vietnam on your list?
I have Vietnam on my list because they kept the French out of there, which is another group on my list, France.
Gotcha.
But anyways, Vietnam took over. North Vietnam and South Vietnam had a battle or whatever, and
Sure.
the French were controlling the South, and they basically kicked the French right out of there. They had to call the Americans in to help the French, and even the Americans couldn't keep the North Vietnamese out of South Vietnam.
Okay.
So
That's a big deal.
that's kind of a big
So
deal.
Vietnam.
We're talking about a little country
I
the
think-
size of Rhode Island or something has destroyed 2 powerhouses throughout history.
Well, it didn't really destroy.
we're talking-
Yeah. They didn't beat us. We just got tired and left.
Yeah, they had a
we never
longer
really
stomach
did
for it.
excuse I can make for America is we never did an aggressive attack after the north side. We just defended the south side. So we were basically like dodging and parrying
That's
punches.
pretty cool that we went there and we didn't just mess them up. You know what I mean? But they did not beat us.
Yeah, they didn't beat us, but I'm
Not
saying
close.
that's pretty. We all know who Vietnam is, don't we? When you think Vietnam, you think Vietnam War.
A hard war. Yeah, you're right.
So
a really,
We're
really
talking about
war.
hard war. We're talking about more bombs than World War II were let off over that war because this North Vietnamese were sneaking through Laos to come to South Vietnam. That was one way to sneak in and battle on one portion of it, and we were bombing them as they were coming in with more bombs than World War II.
It's a big deal.
That's huge.
There's still bombs that haven't exploded yet in Laos.
That's huge.
It happens every once in a while. Somebody accidentally steps someone and blows up.
That might be a gator fact, but
That'd be terrible.
I'm not gonna check it.
This is not a gator fact. This is
All right.
This is real.
This is Google fact.
this is a real fact.
Google fact.
This is the real deal.
Factoid. Of course, it might not be real. I wasn't there. I can't prove it.
kind of like the round Earth.
Kind of like the round Earth. You know what? Maybe the Earth isn't round.
Never know. Never know.
You never
You
know.
convinced him.
How do I know? Am I up in a spaceship? Am I
What else do
looking
we
down
got
the
here?
Earth?
We also have, if you're just joining in, which it looks like you probably haven't, we're doing a Mount Rushmore on the most awesome countries. So, Rob, do you have any others on your list?
I would go. I guess I'll go to France then.
France. I do not have France on my list. What do you got?
They took over. You know, they were kind of the first country to come in here and really took over a lot of this country that we are in right now in the beginning. But they ended up getting beat. They had Napoleon, one of the greatest generals, whatever the heck it was, leaders of all time.
But he got beat.
I don't know
you
how
said.
long the French will stay on our list because
But you said he got beat.
Got
did
beat.
he got beat, but
Are you a
Napoleon
BandWagon fan or?
you're right, and I'm good. Let me finish here. Now, one reason why we couldn't put him, might not be able to put him on the list is because twice in 2 world wars we had to save them. So, I mean, they did have a nice empire that was taking over the world. I mean, they had part of Africa. They had a lot of stuff at one time. They did lose it all.
Yeah, well, that typically
So we'll
happens
see how
to
long they
empires.
stay on the list.
All right, we'll put France on the list.
Because I believe there's only one country, well, 2, Vietnam and another country that managed to keep it all.
All right. Anything else on your list?
Let's go to your list now.
Okay, I got Switzerland. Now, Switzerland, they enjoy one of the highest standards of living in the entire world. They never get involved in wars. They're always neutral, so they never actually go to war, lose any lives. They always just say, hey, you guys are
So
good.
they haven't won any
You guys are
wars.
good, too. But everybody's living nice and comfy there. And they also, the government issues guns, rifles to all adults and provides weapons training on a yearly basis. That's pretty awesome.
From what I heard, this is not like. This is a maybe not even a Google fact, but a fact on Facebook that they don't give them ammo though. They only have a certain amount of ammo.
I didn't read anything about ammo.
That's what
Maybe they
I've
got to purchase
heard.
their
Yeah,
own ammo.
I have heard
No,
that the
I
whole
heard that-
gun thing is kind of
They can't-
over exaggerated.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's over exaggerated, and they can only have a certain amount of ammo in the house at a time.
I can't prove it. I can only go by what I've read online, but I have read that the government does issue them weapons.
That sounds pretty cool.
and
though,
then
so.
gives them yearly weapons training
Okay.
at a
and-
certain time of the year.
all right.
But
so
either way,
that's
so
pretty cool.
Always neutral, high standard of living.
I believe if we got into money, don't they have like some kind of like way cheaper taxes than everyone else?
I don't know. I think they might be pretty socialist. I don't know.
Yeah. So okay, they live in a socialist utopia.
I really don't know. I didn't dig too deep on them.
They're not a part of the euro. So
No, they're one of those Nordic countries. Yeah.
all right. So yeah, let's put them on the list for a while.
Yeah, we got
They're
3 on the
definitely
list.
They haven't won any wars. The one backdrop for them, if we could do a backdrop, no wars won.
Wars
no,
are-
they
is
can't
a
win
big
any
deal.
fights. They haven't done any fights. They've stayed neutral, so we don't know how tough
They've
they
never
are.
lost.
You're right. They've never
They
lost.
never
They've never fought either.
They're undefeated.
It's true. They're undefeated. They are undefeated. There's no arguing
They have
that.
not defeated anybody.
They haven't defeated either.
They're winless.
But to me, everything you just said, that the fact that they just stay out of the wars and let everyone else fight each other in a Royal Rumble, they're kind of like in the corner. Maybe if everyone else got in a big world war and they're all depleted, maybe Switzerland just goes in. We got all the guns. Everybody has a gun.
Then they'll sit on the Iron Throne and it's all over.
It's all over.
what I mean?
Everything's
End of the
Switzerland.
world, Switzerland.
So man, are they awesome?
They are.
Are they? Man, they might be George Washington.
They
Let's
could
keep
be.
going on here.
All
See
right.
what else we got here?
The next one's a big one. I got China. We got China
agree.
with a population of 1.4 billion people, which
That's
is the
huge.
most populated country in the history of the world. They make everything. Take a look at anything in this room. It probably says made in China on there. And they are the biggest financial loaner of money to the superpower United States of
They
America.
are a bank.
So, I mean, we're talking just a major, major player in the awesome country business here.
Not only that, they have been around longer than almost anybody.
They have a super long history.
Yeah.
Yeah. China's huge.
I'm pretty sure they
country-
have the longest history.
But what about their government? A little
Civilization, at least.
backdrop on them a little bit. Didn't England kind of own that country at one time?
Maybe at one time they did, but
Dude,
they don't
it's still
now.
China.
They don't now.
It's still
Yeah.
China
It's
the whole
still
way
China.
through. It never stopped being China.
They have a civilization that has multiplied to 1.4 billion people.
Yeah,
I mean, they're doing something right.
They're doing something right, and also, like you said, they could just stop being like, hey, you know what? We won't make you guys anything anymore. All of a sudden, we can't even wipe our butts.
Right. No more toilet paper.
That's bad. That's not good.
It's all said and done. All
Walmart
Americans
No
will
more-
have,
Stop.
This microphone is made in China.
they
I'm
could
sure.
they could at any time just make it so all Americans have dirty butts.
Pretty much. We could all
could not do
stink.
nothing. We would be screwed.
Man,
China, we're done.
China is awesome.
Yeah.
Really. They are awesome.
No more iPhones. No more Samsung. Well, Samsung's from South Korea, I guess, but you know what I mean. They make almost everything.
They're pretty awesome.
So they're on the list.
I bet you they make a lot of stuff for South Korea for the Samsung thing.
Yeah, a lot of accessories and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
On the next on my list, I have the British Empire. Now, they're no longer the British Empire, but if you go back in time and do a little bit of research on them, they were the largest empire in the history of the world, and at one point, they controlled 25% of the world's population.
That is pretty huge, but then they lost it all.
But then they lost it all.
So that's always an asterisk.
They
on
have
their
an,
empire.
they have an asterisk next to their name.
I have a surprising pick that I'm going to wait till later. And would you consider like adding a even something that has purchased the most land or something like land ownership? Would that
If
make
it's
somebody powerful?
I mean, if it's an awesome, we think it's awesome
Be-
enough to put
because-
on this list.
Because McDonald's
McDonald's
is
they're
the
out of
biggest
country.
landowner of real estate in the world.
More than the U.S. government.
Yes.
What?
They don't.
McDonald's.
sure
yes.
about this?
Yes. McDonald's. own-
That's a gator
We
fact.
That
gotta
is
we
not.
gotta verify this
That's
one.
a-
Let's have the
Gator
producer
fact.
verify that. McDonald's one of the biggest landowners in the
They have
world.
more. You're telling me they own more land in the world than the whole United States? Like,
Oh, the size of the United States? I'm not sure about that.
well, then we own
I'm
more.
talking
Well, no, the
They
United
might.
States doesn't. The government doesn't own all the land in the United States.
basically.
exactly. McDonald's
You re-
owns most of it.
You pay taxes on it. You pay taxes on it, right?
But technically, they don't own it. What he's saying, like,
Oh,
let-
they basically own it.
So they're kind of like their own country
Sure.
almost. I mean, they're in every continent in the world. McDonald's is everywhere. They're powerful.
I don't know.
I don't know if you want to mess with McDonald's.
I challenge the fact that they own more land than any other entity
I don't know.
on
maybe
Earth.
like Walmart, there's a ton of Walmart, but I don't know, not as many.
Not as many
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Think of all the military
McDonald's is
bases.
huge.
Think about all the army bases, the Air
And
Force
think
bases.
about how many
Huge.
McDonald's there are on.
Thinking,
there.
No,
thinking
man.
about all the national parks.
Think
thinking
about the
They're
McDonald's
massive,
on.
too.
Yeah, we're dude,
Yellowstone.
Right. What about Yellow? There's a McDonald's right when you leave Yellowstone.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
how big is
and how
Yellowstone?
small is that compared to Yellowstone? You could probably fit 1 million McDonald's in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I just
what I
kind of am curious. We got our producer on. He'll come back.
can't
Let's
find
move on to the
nothing
next
on it.
country.
We got nothing.
What I can say is that out of the, and this is on Business Insider now.
Okay.
Business Insider.
Okay, this is all we got though.
Top 15, out of the top 15, the number 3 landowner is the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, wow.
And I knew they were up there.
All right.
Wow.
But guess
might-
who owns more land than the Catholic Church?
McDonald's.
U.S. government.
McDonald's.
Whoa!
Not a gator
Rob!
fact.
Rob!
I'm telling you guys, McDonald's is huge.
But who's number one?
All right, hold on. McDonald's has about
Weyerhaeuser.
35,000 chain stores and is opening more every week, but the average McDonald's sits on 1.15 acres, making the total about 40,000 acres. However, as a cash machine, the average McDonald's generates 2.6 million in sales per year.
That's power.
We got about 40,000 acres for McDonald's.
And they have McDonald's owns land in China.
Does it say who's number one?
Is Weyerhaeuser still number one?
It's got to be the U.S. government. It's got to be.
Ted Turner's number 15.
Ted Turner needs to be on the list.
He used to own the WCW.
Yeah, that's big enough right there.
That's crazy.
He changed wrestling for a while.
Queen Elizabeth.
She's
Queen
number
Elizabeth.
one.
Queen Elizabeth,
So
yeah.
the royal family is number one.
So now we go back to England.
But they don't have governments on there. If they had governments on there, the U.S.
40,
government.
yeah, because that's
they-
not more than all the bases that we have.
But does it
6.6
McDonald's?
billion acres.
Whoa.
6.6 billion acres of land
And the
worldwide.
funny thing about the Queen of England, she didn't do anything to earn that. She was just born.
Yeah.
Well, put her on the
And
list.
she just goes like this, waves and,
The
But
royal
she's not a
family.
country. Well, she's kind of country, but
If you think about McDonald's does govern its employees.
yeah, I
They have
suppose.
policies. You have to behave a certain way to work at McDonald's. You'll get
not
fired.
really. Well, you get fired, but
I mean, you can't just do whatever you want. You can't swear at people.
So
You'll be kicked out of McDonald's.
the Rushmore is most awesome countries. So I mean, McDonald's isn't technically a country.
It's not, but I'm just saying it's occupied a lot of
that
countries.
was a really good fact, though.
Yeah,
that's a
I give you
fact.
credit. That was
I'm
that
just
was
saying
legit.
an occupation a little bit, kind of an aggressive takeover. We're looking at McDonald's. They're aggressively taking over. They're occupying land throughout the entire world. They're taking over, and they're forcing their beliefs on people. They're telling you, if you want to be
Eat
a
this
part of
goddamn
McDonald's,
burger.
you want to be a resident of McDonald's, work there and get paid from McDonald's,
Eat
don't be
this burger.
swearing at the customers. Be nice to them.
I would say Subway has more franchises worldwide nowadays. I figured, why wouldn't they have more land?
Because McDonald's is the only one that actually
Everywhere.
combined real estate with
yeah,
food.
you're right. Most Subways are in mini malls.
The guy,
They don't really own land.
the
do
guy
they?
Ray
They rent out
Crocker or
stuff.
whatever, who started kind of franchising McDonald's, he had the idea in his head to
Did you
buy
watch
the
that
land.
Netflix video recently? There's a
The
Netflix.
founder,
Yeah,
that's where I'm
pretty
getting
good.
this from. I was
Okay.
like, wow, I didn't know they owned all
With
that
Michael
land.
Keaton.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty good. I watched
really
most of
good
it.
movie,
I've
underrated,
seen a part of it.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
underrated.
So I mean, we gave McDonald's a good 10 minutes, so that's good enough. I mean,
Good enough. Let's put them
can't-
on there. We actually talked about them for 10 minutes. I don't know why I brought up McDonald's, but I was like, I watched that movie.
I mean, they're not
What
really
else
a
we got
country.
here?
They're not a country, you're right, but they did occupy. That's
British Empire.
Yeah.
We already talked about them.
we're ta-
Oh, I missed
if
it.
we talk about occupy,
No, you were right there the whole time.
I'm just saying like occupying other nations. They do occupy.
Yeah,
They might
they-
not attack, but they do occupy.
They have spread their wings across the flat Earth.
And somewhat
Indeed
it is an
they have.
attack because they really weaken a lot of people with their food. Their food is really bad for you.
Enough with McDonald's. They're awesome. I
okay,
agree.
they're great. We love McDonald's.
They have a good Big Mac.
I'm going to go with Soviet Union next. The former Soviet Union, largest social experiment ever with socialism. Were extremely powerful at their peak,
It turned out great.
but ultimately failed due to socialism or communism or whatever. So
They
failed.
They did have a part in World War II, winning World War II.
Yeah, but they did fail. They came crashing down. Do we put a loser?
I don't think
the
we can
list.
put a loser on there. And also, if it wasn't for America coming on the other side and creating a two-front war of Germany, Russia was about to be taken over by Germany.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
No.
I mean Soviet Union. My
Yeah.
bad.
Soviet Union.
So, no, they're losers.
All right. Okay. Well,
They don't belong on the list.
We will not put them on the list. The last country I have on the list
Great national anthem, though.
is the United States of America.
America.
Greatest superpower ever to come on the flat Earth. Most powerful military of all time. We can invade any country without asking permission.
Most weapons.
Can turn any country into our 51st state anytime we want to. We're the only country who've ever used nukes, and we did it on civilians. And we teach our kids it was a good idea, and they believe it. So come on.
That's pretty
on.
huge.
I mean,
Then we have
we beat
the most
up.
guns.
we got the most guns per capita, and we got more guns than we got people. I mean, come on.
Hey,
The
that's huge.
largest debt in the history of human history. Like,
And
we
it
got the
doesn't
largest
matter.
everything ever.
And
you
we're
know?
still the superpower.
Right.
We owe more than.
Not to
ever.
mention,
Yeah.
we won back-to-back World War
We're
champions.
back-to-back World
Yeah,
War
but
champions.
That's a huge deal.
May three-peat if that guy in North Korea doesn't start
We
settling
kind
down.
of let England soften up the Nazi army before we jumped in on that.
Yeah, true.
But when we got attacked by Japan, we really jumped in on that immediately.
Oh yeah. I don't know what they were thinking, trying to pull us into the fight. You know,
America even shut down the automobile industry to make sure that we won that war. They had to stop building cars and start building bombs.
had to retrofit some of those factories. That's right. And we started building bombs and tanks where they used to build automobiles.
Yep.
They used to build Fords and Chevys and.
Yep, don't need those anymore. So yeah,
Not if the government just shows up and goes, no, you guys are done building cars and making money. Now you got to lose money and make us weapons. That's basically what they
you
did.
had to pitch into the war effort. That was the
That's
whole
smart.
campaign back then.
And we won.
You know?
That was kind of the reason why Chrysler had a financial downfall, was because they were the ones who had it the worst. They had to spend the most money on war.
No government bailout for Chrysler. Sorry, guys.
Nope. Well, they did eventually get one.
But USA, in my opinion, belongs on the list.
I think they are the whole list.
the whole list.
I think it'd be America, and then America.
If we went like
honorable
George
mention.
Bush's America, 2 wars there, he just showed up in Iraq and they were tearing down his statues in a week.
That's true.
Like Saddam Hussein was never there, just destroyed everything in a week. Then we went and like blew up caves and crap in Afghanistan. I mean, like, so we could bunch it up to like FDR's America, the war.
Okay, well, I don't have any. I didn't do any research on different portions of our history, but we could do that. We could do that.
I mean, that's how awesome they are. That's all I mean. Is that how awesome America is?
America could be the whole list. I completely and 100%
I think that
agree.
they are.
We even had, let's think about this. We even had people in our country, half of it go, we don't want to be in your country no more. We went, no, you're still our country. We went
Civil
and beat
War?
the crap out of them.
You can't leave. We need your tax money.
And now, like 100 years later, we're like, yeah, let's burn down all their statues too, like it never existed.
And actually, at the end of the Civil War, towards the end of the Civil War, didn't the Union burn down all their big cities? Atlanta got burned to the ground.
Yeah.
At the end of the Civil War, and
Like I think I read somewhere, this isn't a Gator fact, I read it somewhere, that a majority of the army was Irish immigrants, so they weren't even like Americans. And the one way they could become an American is if they went and fought in the Civil War for the Union.
That might be true. Yeah.
So we didn't even use Americans to beat up the Americans that were rebelling against our country's taxes and stuff. Then we said we're going to free the slaves so that the people, the 1%ers down south, wouldn't have people working to fund the Confederate Army. But now I'm sounding racist, so let's just move on.
No,
from
you
that.
said free slaves. It's a good thing.
That
Well,
I'm not offended.
That was good to
Yeah.
free the slaves. I agree, but I don't think they did it to be good. They did it to stop financial, because not everybody had slaves in the South back then.
No.
Not
Well-
everybody had their own slaves.
just like the rich plantation owners. And stuff
yeah,
like
just
that.
rich
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
did. So they had people get rid of they said they wanted to get rid of the slaves so that the slaves would kind of rebel on their own. And
I'm
so
sure
these
that-
people weren't making money. They weren't producing the goods anymore. They didn't have the staff anymore.
I'm sure that they were going to get rid of them anyways, because if they're off and fighting a war, all the men are gone. In a war, who's going to be back home watching a bunch of slaves? Women?
Well, the older rich people did not
that's
fight
very
in the war.
sexist, by the way, Jared.
Well,
you
I'm
think
just
women?
saying-
You
Rich
think
people-
women cannot handle that?
Hold on.
The ones back then, no.
The 1%ers
The ones
didn't.
back then, no.
So what's
They could
wrong?
not.
What's wrong with women back in those days?
They were weak-minded, but now we have strong, independent women nowadays.
So women
It's been
back
great.
in the 1860s in the United States
They were
weak-minded.
weak-minded, and they could not handle 100 slaves.
My mind's about to explode. This is so sexist. That is so sexist.
Yes.
Well, that's.
I am
Here's
sexist
my thing:
against
is
the
those
old
people
ways,
didn't
the
go
old
off to war.
ways.
Rich people didn't go off to war. They
That's
stayed home
true.
at their plantation.
Yeah, but not all of
Their
them. Not all
their
the
war
workers.
effort was keeping the
The
slaves
workers
in
did.
line so they could keep making products, so they could keep making money to buy the weapons
Yeah, you're probably right.
from the French and other places.
We can't discuss history. This is so offensive.
You're
This
right.
is so.
I am offended
mean,
at my own
we need to
statement.
put
I think honestly we should tear down the Statue of Liberty if we're going to tear down the other stuff, because
We need to put a
Whoa.
trigger warning on this episode.
wasn't that built by slaves?
I think it was given to us by France
Yeah,
as,
but
as a birthday
Built
present.
by their slaves over in France.
That's a Gator fact.
Actually, slavery was abolished when it was given to us. It was 1876. So I think
But technically, you
Gator
know,
fact.
they had to get paid, right? And everybody works for $1. You know, aren't we slaves to the dollar?
Your point is, you are right. We're all slaves.
So I feel like slaves built that statue
Gator.
of liberty.
That was a good effect, and it's okay. It sounded good.
But I felt like I recovered there.
You you did. We're slaves to the dollar, so therefore.
So we're all slaves. So I kind of want to just tear down my own house.
We should tear down that 5-season tree we got downtown.
Yeah.
That's offensive.
Slaves did that.
Slaves definitely did that. I mean, if they got paid,
Hey,
anything you get paid for, that's
I know.
slavery.
I remember I was in elementary and I brought in a whole bunch of quarters to fund that thing.
Wow.
They took
So
my money. I was a child.
You didn't.
They
you
had
voluntarily
child
gave it,
slaves.
though.
Yeah, but I was a weak-minded little, like third grader or
Just
something.
like the women from the 1860s, huh?
Kind of.
Yeah, so those you're
Pretty
basically
much.
comparing them to children. Is what
Well,
you're saying.
Physically wise, yes. I mean, they were like a child
Oh, jeez.
back then. Now we have strong, independent women.
We're
so
definitely
okay.
going to need to put
I
a
bet
trigger
you-
warning on this episode. Yeah. It's going to offend a lot of people.
Tear it down.
So
and
the,
you
uh,
offended a lot.
But don't you think the women back then were probably a little bit more resourceful than even most of the men now? I mean, these
Oh, yeah,
people knew
probably.
how to.
Oh, now he says
But
problem.
not
They
physically,
knew how to
though.
butcher
But not
stuff.
physically.
I bet you most people couldn't even butcher a chicken or anything
I'll butcher a chicken.
or a catfish.
It may not be
Anything.
right, but I'll kill that fucker.
But back then they did that all the time. The women did.
Yeah, they were more resourceful, but they weren't physically
I feel like a
powerful.
woman from back then could come in and just beat the shit out of Ronda Rousey. Just think about the life they lived.
Come on now.
Let's think about
They're
it.
hardcore back then.
Oh, come on.
They all had to work hard and make a living.
Yeah,
You know?
they had to
Yeah,
actually do
goddamn real
stuff.
job.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, what are we going to do about this Rushmore? Are we just going to say USA is all 5 spots?
I think we can do that. And maybe McDonald's, a crazy horse,
All right, okay.
or the Queen of England. Actually,
Yeah.
I take that all back. She's
Queen-
occupied more stuff than
Yeah.
anybody.
So
The Queen of England is.
I almost feel like she's a George Washington. Let's think about her for a second. She doesn't do anything. All these
Yeah.
people give her money for no reason, and she has more land than anybody.
Vietnam.
Well, she's
can
awesome.
be
She doesn't have to
a
do
crazy
anything.
horse.
So we're going to go Queen of England as our George Washington, followed by the United States of America.
And then does Vietnam get a
China?
China's
China
up there,
should
yeah.
be in there.
China? Okay. And then the only
Vietnam.
country that you could ever possibly quasi-say beat the United States in a war be Vietnam.
It was Vietnam.
Should we put them on there?
Yes, they
I
have
mean,
to be
I
on
wouldn't
there.
say they beat them, but the America didn't beat them
They-
either. Now, did they?
Defended well against us. Very well.
They held their own.
They didn't
Yeah.
even defend. They occupied the South. I mean, they came in and said, we're taking over the South. We defended for the North or the
we at?
South.
What about our chief crazy horse honorable mention? We going with McDonald's?
I think we kind of have to go McDonald's. They've
That's a
occupied
good one.
everywhere.
What?
And we spent 10 minutes on it, so we have to mention them.
McDonald's occupied everywhere.
We
They're
never had
awesome.
we never had a Rushmore devolve like this one before. But I love it. I love it.
And they slowly poisoned everybody.
Oh my gosh!
McDonald's
we
is
said
awesome.
We got a David says Afghanistan has held up against everyone, which is true. They took on the Soviets and the Americans, and they're still there.
But we changed their government. I mean,
Yeah, good point.
And
Yeah, we took
no,
them out.
that's not true because Osama bin Laden was them guys were the leader of Al Qaeda or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were from Saudi Arabia and they took over Afghanistan.
We have
Oh,
military
gotcha.
Let's think about
bases
that.
there. We control that.
But let's think about even before we controlled it, they were controlled by this Al Qaeda group,
Alexander,
which had a
the
bunch of
Great.
Saudi Arabians.
That and we had to help Afghanistan beat off the Russians. Without us, they would have probably got owned.
Then we got owned by
Yeah.
the Soviet Union, who's a big time loser.
Right.
We found out,
and that's
just
not
now.
cool.
That's not cool at all.
Yeah,
You're
they're
gonna
a
lose
big-time
the
loser.
Anybody who loses the Soviet Union sucks. Let's put it that way.
All right, this Mount Rushmore for most awesome quote unquote countries. Our George Washington is the Queen of England, followed by the United States of America, China, and then Vietnam. Our chief crazy horse honorable mention is McDonald's. There we go. That Rushmore, that offends me.
Oh man, that Rushmore offends me. I am so offended today.
Well, I'm going to go back and listen to this podcast and probably get triggered 800 times throughout the whole thing. Good
Thanks to
man.
me.
Thanks to Jared. Talk about how women are inferior.
Back in the day, they were.
Back in the day.
And
Okay.
it was wrong.
Okay.
Ish.
And then I said
It was
the opposite.
completely
I just
wrong.
want to put it out in the air. I said the opposite.
Me
the women
too.
back in the day were pretty awesome.
Yep.
I didn't say they weren't. I said that they couldn't handle a bunch of slaves that were. I mean, they're pretty fucking
How do
strong.
you know they can't handle them?
Well,
Were you there?
I googled that stuff back before this
We don't have
show.
time to Google.
Yeah, pretty good episode.
I'm just happy that nowadays we have independent women that are so strong and
This guy's
fierce,
trying to recover here.
fierce animals.
Yep.
So one thing we figured out here, I'm no longer a part of the white group.
Nope,
Completely.
you have half Asian baby, so. you
But
are
do I have to
definitely-
have that baby with me
No.
in order to be out of the group? But
have
am I-
pictures?
right now I'm by myself. I don't have the baby, so am I back in the white group or?
No, you have pictures, right?
Because I want to be a part of a group. I mean, we got all these groups. We got Black Lives Matters, White Group Matters, or whatever, and
White
every
group
other,
matter.
all these other groups. And I feel like I'm not in a group because I have an interracial baby and I'm a white guy. So I don't feel like I'm in a group. I feel very offended by
minute.
all these groups
Hold
that are
on.
not including me.
I'm mixed, so you tell me that I'm not in a group now.
I feel
That
like
offends me.
so technically.
That really offends me.
So we're not in a group. I feel like there's no
I feel like I'm in a
interracial.
group.
Where's the interracial group?
Everywhere
There's an interracial.
we're taking
group.
over everything. There's so many mixed fucking kids everywhere, all over the place.
But there's not a technical group. There's no interracial matters.
there is.
I would like you to. Can you? I am. I'm going to
Yeah,
start a
start-
group real soon.
It can be done.
You make me feel like I'm not part of anything right now.
We're not a part. I'm not.
it's really
My
hurting
son.
me.
It's hurting my son. He's not a part of any interracial matters group.
You're all a part of the human race. You're all a part of that group.
No, that offends me.
No. I don't want to be in that. That group's too small.
Humans are
Okay.
horrible people.
That's too big of a group. I need to be in a small,
don't like that many
simple-minded group. A small-minded group. I
Yeah.
need to be in one.
Well,
Either I got to be a Nazi or I got to be in Black Lives Matter or we got to start an interracial group. so
Interracial
that-
groups, yeah. We hate anybody who is like a purebred.
Yeah,
Pure blood. All pure bloods hate
Oh,
you. I hate you now.
Oh, you're a white guy for a white woman? I hate you.
Yeah,
There you go. There
you
you go.
gotta find yourself
New
a black
group.
lady.
oh, geez. What a conversation. Oh, my gosh.
This is on.
I think, hey, what we're doing here is just how people get easily offended nowadays. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
they're
believe any of this
constantly
crap
getting
that I
offended.
actually am saying. I'm just saying that people keep putting themselves in groups. Why don't we just be earthlings? Why don't we
Like you
just be
said,
human
humans.
beings?
Like we're humans. Like why get offended every time that a person
Does
brings
something.
up race or
Right. I mean,
sexuality,
we're
whatever?
all in this together on this big, beautiful, flat blue surface. You know,
I
mean,
think
we
it's
should all
round.
just get
Yeah.
together.
I think it's round. He thinks it's flat.
so. We might as well all just get along, right?
Yeah. Why sit there and get mad? Or if
I mean, when we're
If I think
underneath
a
the
certain
cold
way,
sun, we
why can't I?
all breathe the air underneath the cold sun.
Right.
And
Exactly. Absorb the cold sun's heat. Well, good conversations, boys. We are a little bit over time, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens, right?
yep.
Do we have any sponsors to thank today, Rob?
I
might-
want to thank my sponsor, Harry's tinfoil hat, custom tinfoil hat service. You are worried about the government shooting rays, gamma rays down on you and changing the way you think and stuff like that. Harry will make these hats that will fit right on your head, as me and Jared used today. You can get these for $19.99 at any of one of Harry's stores.
That's a value.
You know, he buys real estate. He's getting up there like McDonald's, buying out stuff.
Awesome.
Occupying.
Thank you, Harry, for sponsoring the BandWagon podcast. Any other sponsors, Rob?
I think that's about it. I mean, we just got the tinfoil hat. That's a huge sponsor.
All right, good deal. That'll keep us up and running for a few months.
You might remember Harry from Harry's energy drink bar.
Oh, I do remember him. Same entrepreneur.
Same guy. He's
Okay,
just, you know,
okay.
he had a falling out in that bar. Everybody got mad and they started stabbing each other in there. So
Whoa,
that's
this
not
was a
good.
bit,
You also
that's a
sold-
bad falling out.
yeah, you'll remember this from before we were getting videotaped that he was our sponsor. He started a new business. He wants to be all about making people safe. And He
Okay.
makes these hats.
Okay.
And a little bit of portion goes to some kind of charity.
Nice.
On what it
That's
is.
he's got a big heart too.
He's got a big heart.
Awesome.
He
That's
loves
good to
people.
hear.
I mean, you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Thanks to everybody from Facebook Live for tuning in and checking us out and leaving comments. Leave comments all the time if you want. We'll respond to you. We always do because we don't get too many of them. So it's pretty easy to do. You know what I mean? But, yeah, good show tonight, guys. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Earth is round.
All right. And what about you, Jared?
I am good. Thank
right.
you guys for having me on here. It's always a blast.
Thanks for coming, Jared. Well, until next time, enjoy your bragging rights. As always, my name's Rock.
And I'm Rob.
And I am Jared, the father of twins.
And we are out.